All right. So I'm sitting here with Professor of Linguistics at Georgia State University, Dr. Mary B. Ziegler. How you doing, Dr. Z?
Doing well and doing much better since I'm seeing you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, Dr. Z has been an incredible impetus for the Keys to Lexis system. She has been very nurturing for my development in the field of linguistics, and I like to say on camera, very excited, very thankful to have you, guiding me in this process, and we're going to kind of just have a little conversation chat about where we've gone, where we've been, and where we're going in the future. All right. So, my first question is, tell me a little bit about the first time we met, the first experience you had with meeting me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was quite interesting. In fact, when I first got the email from you about your interest in working on language and working on grammar, and I thought about another student whom you met and gotten close to, who is now teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told you about that. I said, well, the two of you could talk. And then she was in the class with me one day, and then you came to the door and just said, hi, I'm Benjamin. I sent you an email about what I'm interested in. And I invited you into the class, and you sat and you came every day. That in itself meant that you were truly devoted to what you were doing. And then you came to the office and played for me one of the tapes that you'd done to demonstrate what you were working on. And it was very exciting because you were taking the usual material and making it special. And that is what would get our young people interested. And at the time you weren't quite sure what age group you were going to aim for, and we talked about that. And as it happened, you were introduced to a daycare center that had a program for educating the students, and you decided to focus on that age group. So, and I really enjoyed having a chance to talk with you about what we were doing in class to see how you were getting it, if you were understanding it, what problems there were, because sometimes the students won't speak up about what they're having difficulties with, or if the way that I'm presenting it is a way that helps them understand. So you were a very important person to give me that kind of insight.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be that, because it was a very kind of chaotic time for me at that point. Like I said, I was unsure about certain things. I knew what I wanted to do, but I was kind of unsure about some things. But you was definitely there to guide me, and I really appreciated that. My next question is, as you mentioned, once I got on with Smarter Kids, the program started, and you came and visited us.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
That was a wonderful experience. I realized that I was seeing what I had always understood to be the case, and that is that when children learn to talk, they can handle anything about the language that their community requires. They just have to be taught it. And you were demonstrating to them how much they actually could learn and explain. And so they weren't just doing identification, they were doing creative work, and they were putting together sentences at the same time that they were identifying the sentence parts. And these are 4-year-olds, and they were interactive, and you showed how, if they can interact while they're learning, they can have fun while they're learning, they learn better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was great. The students were also, they were attentive, and some would sit in their chairs at the table, but they were still paying attention, and then others would just get on the floor right there in front of you because they wanted to be in the middle of things. But you had it organized so that they had a chance to review what they'd already had, so they were starting on a foundation of what they knew. Then you would introduce another part to them, so they had done subjects before, they had done verbs before, and now you were introducing them to the adjective and to the adverb. And it was interesting the way you had them to, if you identify the subject, then you become the subject. And so you stand and represent subject, and then verb, and then you represent verb. And so they were lining up themselves as a sentence, and that was, and they liked that. They liked actually saying, I am noun, I am subject, I am verb.
Right.
And so I would see that that kind of interaction is what can be done anywhere by anyone. It doesn't require them having a set of exercises that they're just writing out. But if they follow your plan, they of course will have to learn it themselves before they can teach it to the others. But it just makes it enjoyable. It makes it applicable.
Absolutely. All right, so my final question is, what is your overall opinion or sentiment of Keys to Lexus?
I see that it has a positive future for our African American youth, who often don't get the kind of treatment that they should in the preschool time. The expectation of what they should know by the time they get to kindergarten is not met with what they do get exposed to by the time they get there. And so the community variety for students, for any speaker, is not dismissed in Keys to the Lexus. But the shift from the community variety to the academic variety is addressed, so that when you are giving them the moves that says we can dance to this, that's a part of their community, that's a part of their culture and their heritage. They can relate to that. And by doing that, it says there's nothing wrong with where you come from. You can add this to what you already have. And that way we're seeing that these young people are growing more confident about themselves in that environment. And I could see that with them, because there were one or two when I came to visit you who came to introduce themselves to me. And in that saying a lot for a 4-year-old to address a stranger, and especially since you told them that I was your teacher. So they felt comfortable with me being there. And that also says a lot for the kind of freedom that your Keys to the Lexus has given them, because it makes it's all right to dance and move to the words, because that's part of our community. And so that's great. I like that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I think it's very effective, and it has not been done before. Others are doing show you the word, say the word. It's repetition, but how do you put it together, and then how do you interact with it? And so your students are now not only reading, they're writing, and they're not even in kindergarten yet. So what I'd say is you would be wise to move toward teaching the teachers in the preschool academy.
So that's the next step. That's the next step. So I have the endorsement of Dr. Mary B. Ziegler, Professor of Linguistics at Georgia State University. Keisha Alexis has an endorsement.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Z.
Well,
for your
thank
time.
you. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. It makes me feel good. Yeah,
Excellent.
it really does make me feel good that there is you put your hand out and there's someone like Benjamin who's going, I want to know, I want to know, I want to get it. And then, so that's good. It makes me feel like what I'm committed to, it's coming true.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Z. I love you.
I love you. You keep doing what you're doing because
Absolutely.
you're going to get better
Absolutely.
all the time.
Absolutely.
So that's great.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Well, this is Keys Alexis testimony from Dr. Mary B. Ziegler, Professor of
My
Linguistics
pleasure.
at Georgia State University. And that's it. Keys Alexis.